Thank you very much, Deputy Presiding Officer. And can I start by thanking colleagues from across the Chamber for the very significant level of support for this motion and for attending tonight's debate. I would also like to thank St Andrew's First Aid, the British Heart Foundation and all those other organisations and volunteers who day and daily bring first aid to our communities, allowing events to take place and giving support to a range of groups right across our communities. This motion was submitted following the publication of the Scottish OHCA data linkage project, which looked into survival rates from out-of-hospital cardiac arrest in Scotland. And it sounds like a dry report, but it speaks volumes about inequality in Scotland. The report, which was delivered jointly by the University of Edinburgh and the Scottish Government and supported by the Scottish Ambulance Service and National Services Scotland, found that survival rates in Scotland following out-of-hospital cardiac arrest are estimated between just 6 and 8%. With the European average sitting at 10.2%, this figure puts Scotland among European countries with the lowest survival rates. The findings of the report added further weight to the continued efforts of St Andrew's First Aid to ensure people across Scotland are equipped with vital life-saving first aid skills. The first paragraph of the report reveals the scale of the problem here in Scotland. Around 3,000 patients each year will have resuscitation attempted after a sudden cardiac arrest in the community, but only around 6% will survive to hospital discharge. In the best performing comparable settings around the world, survival is as high as 25%. The report has identified a number of factors which indicate a very real link between areas of social deprivation and a person's chances of surviving an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, which can affect people of all ages at any time. The report revealed that those living in the most deprived areas of the country were twice as likely to suffer an OHCA as people living in more affluent areas, 28% against 14%. Furthermore, those from the most deprived areas were 43% less likely to survive a cardiac arrest than those from more affluent areas. Other factors identified in the report were the average age of OHCA victims in areas of deprivation is 7 years lower. Bystander CPR was attempted in just 40% of cases recorded by the Scottish Ambulance Service before they arrived. This is lower than in some parts of England. For example, in London, it is 60% of recorded cases. People from the more deprived areas are less likely, around 38%, to receive bystander CPR compared to more affluent areas at 45%. Surely, Deputy Presiding Officer, if it were mandatory for people to have even basic first aid skills, these factors could be greatly reduced. It's a simple solution. More lives could be saved if more people had the skills to help save others. St Andrew's First Aid is now calling for more to be done to reduce the statistics I have cited and increase levels of first aid skills in Scotland. This simple approach would deliver widespread benefits, literally saving lives. There are additional benefits first aid training would bring, which I would like to highlight. Last year, a report by the British Red Cross found that first aid training could help ease the pressure on A&E departments. The report stated that over a third of people surveyed attended A&E because they were, quote, worried and didn't know what to do. People expressed a desire to use A&E services appropriately, but found it difficult to know whether a health problem was severe enough to need urgent care. A central case to this evening's debate, the report highlighted that healthcare professionals themselves state that most patients have not attempted first aid before coming to hospital. By equipping people with the proper skills and training more first aiders, we can begin to turn the tide on this issue. Education is paramount in addressing this problem. In one region of Glasgow, St Andrew's First Aid have been working in partnership with a number of secondary schools to improve and increase levels of first aid skills among young people. In the north of the city, almost 400 young people have been first aid trained, and in turn these pupils will showcase what they have learned to their fellow pupils, passing on vital skills and knowledge. The feedback St Andrew's First Aid has received from the schools has been overwhelmingly positive, with reports that people grow in confidence and learn to use their initiative in different ways than before. This does not just apply to first aid, but it applies to all of the studies and extracurricular activities. Although the programmes are centred around the teaching of first aid, The skills people learn are transferable and can set them up for everything, taking them through school and beyond. In a year of young people and the appointment of St Andrews First Aid as the official first aid provider for the European Championships being held in Glasgow in August, perhaps the Scottish Government can look at what opportunities may arise around encouraging young people to volunteer and take up the opportunity to learn how to save a life. Life transforming for them and life-saving perhaps for others. A virtuous circle if ever there was one. The findings of the report have provided a firm starting point from which we should be urging for more to be done to improve survival rates and address the shortage of first aid skills held by individuals which could literally save lives and put to an end this most horrible example of a postcode lottery. More likely to die and less likely to be saved. It's common sense to equip people with the simple skills they need to save a life and everyone will benefit. Aileen Campbell, the Minister, had already agreed to meet with me, and I look forward to further exploring how we make sure people from the most deprived areas have a better chance of survival and that more people are equipped with life-saving skills. This campaign by St Andrews First Aid addresses some of the most challenging issues faced by people living in Scotland's deprived areas today, and I sincerely hope that the Scottish Government will work collaboratively with St Andrews First Aid and others so that we can see Scotland become a nation of skilled first aiders. And may I say in conclusion, we all understand the massive challenge ongoing health inequalities present to us all. It can be overwhelming, so many causes, so many potential solutions. We ought not to be overwhelmed into inaction, however. This issue, equipping us with the skills of first aid and understanding that these skills are already unequally distributed across the population, is one part of a big picture, but is one part we can act on right now, and I seek the Minister's assurance that she understands and will act. Thank you.